13 festival horses, and I ended up buying 4 with matching sets and spending way too many star coins. Hi friends! The Equestrian Festival is back in Star Stable Online, and there's honestly so much to spend your star coins on right now. Because all the older and a few new exclusive festival codes are back in Moorland and Jorvik Stables. We have new sets, older sets, discounted sets, and even a few extras you can get with your spring tokens. And the big problem this year is that you don't even have to travel anymore, because everything is available in both places. So wherever you go, you're able to shop way too easily. And when you see everything all at once, it just becomes really hard to stop yourself from buying everything. Now last year, I only bought 1 horse because I was being careful, saving my star coins, being a proper discount dolly. But this year, with 2 double star coin weekends in a row, I made sure I was prepared and filled my backpack up with star coins, championship ribbons, and light from Valedale that I saved up. I also took my friends with me because this is my first real big shopping spree, and I couldn't imagine doing this without them. We ended up buying 4 horses, gave each of them a full matching set. By the end, I spent everything I saved up and a little bit more than planned, which honestly already tells you how this is gonna go. The worst part is that there are still so many horses left, so while you watch this, let me know which one I should go back for, because I'm not fully convinced I'm done yet. And at this point, it's basically up to you whether we end this festival with another shopping spree or not. So without hesitation, we went straight to Moorland, because it's the easiest place to see everything at once, and our non-star rider friend can just join us there as well. We already had 4 names ready for the horses we were gonna buy, which were Emperor, Little, Coconutty, and Uraya. Those names came from the stable tours we do every Tuesday on my live stream. So while we're shopping and matching horses to those names, let me know if we actually picked the right ones. And as we rode into the festival area, it was a complete chaos. There were so many players that we couldn't even properly see the horses. But once you open up the purchase window, all of that disappears and you can actually take a proper look at all the code colors and of course their prices. That's when it becomes really dangerous, because with 13 horses to choose from and a lot of them being discounted, it becomes very easy to spend your star coins fast. I already knew I wanted one of the Hanoverians because last year those special codes came out and I didn't buy one because they were 950 star coins, which for me as a professional discount dolly just felt like way too much at the time. But now they're discounted to 656 star coins, and suddenly it's like, okay, I don't really have an excuse anymore. The only problem is that there are 2 codes, the Dapple Grey and the Palomino. I genuinely like both of them, so instead of pretending I was going to make a smart decision, I asked my friends to decide for me, and they very clearly went for the Palomino. So that's the one we bought. We picked the braided dressage manes with the intricate braided rose in the tail, which adds another 19 star coins. But honestly, it looks so good that I didn't even question it. Then we moved on to naming it, and after looking at the list, we figured Emperor just made sense because this horse looks very elegant, expensive, and put together, even with a discount. The name itself, honestly, is just funny. It's a complete tongue twister, so try saying it 3 times in a row. For buying it, we went over to the spring token shop, and since I had a lot of tokens from previous festivals, we bought the Azure set. Because the blue contrasts really nicely with the Palomino code and just makes the whole look feel very royal. Then we trained around Moorland for a bit, and at that point I genuinely thought, okay, this isn't that much of a splurge. But we weren't done yet. We made our way to Jorvik Stables, which in hindsight was probably where everything went wrong. Because even though you can buy horses at both hubs, the layout here really highlights the newer and more expensive ones. That's why we saw this year's new codes, the Andalusian and Frisian Sport Horse. Now I did buy an Andalusian at the Winter Festival, and I like some of the codes, but overall they're just really not my type. They feel a bit too shiny for me. So I was already leaning towards the Frisian, and maybe that's also just a bit of Dutch pride, because that's where both the breed and I are from. With a small braid and a beautiful tail, adding another 19 star coins, and with 3 names left on our list, this Frisian became Coconutty, which honestly fits perfectly because it has a lot of personality and feels slightly chaotic in a good way. To style it, we went with the Fierce Feline set, which is new this year and can be bought with Jorvik shillings or star coins. And even though it's technically a dressage set, those animal print details makes it feel a bit bold, which fits Coconutty perfectly because it's classy but not boring. I managed to afford it by handing in light from Valedale and championship ribbons that I saved up, and once everything was on, it just looks amazing. But when I opened my backpack and saw what I had left, that's the moment I realized this might become a problem. We still had missions left to do, like helping Linda and Alex fix up their booth, but since it was basically the same as last year, it felt a bit repetitive, so we just went back to shopping. And since we just got the Frisian from the Netherlands, we obviously couldn't leave without getting a Dutch warm blood. There are 4 coat colors to choose from, and just like with the Hanoverian, it was difficult again. But when I saw the Pinto coat with the small braids you can add for 19 star coins, I immediately thought this would be perfect for Camp Western later on this summer. We had 2 names left, Little and Uriah, and again, I'll let my friends decide. They went for Little, which is honestly funny because the horse is not little at all. After buying it, of course we needed a matching set, and besides the Fierce Feline set, there was one more set this year, the Blush Bow set. I turned in every last bit of light and ribbons I had, and for the final piece, I even had to spend 90 star coins because at that point, I just wanted the full set. And I think it's worth it because it's really versatile, with the sweater being perfect all around, the shorts will be amazing in summer, and the bridle and saddle matches perfectly with the springtime trailblazer set we got last month. To finish off our shopping trip, we went back to Moorland so our non-star rider friends could join us again. At that point, I already spent so many star coins, so I started looking at the cheaper options, and I remembered the English thoroughbred I bought last year at the last moment. Mostly because it was cheap, but it ended up being one of my most used and favorite horses last year. So I figured with 2 code options again, with it only being 476 star coins, the white coat would be perfect. We picked the braided knots again, adding more star coins, which honestly is insane when you look back at it, but at that point, we were already committed. We had 1 name left, Uriah, which we found during the stable tours from somebody who's a huge fan of Daphne, whose horse has that name. And even though it's not the original Uriah, it's about what it represents. And knowing how much I loved my thoroughbred last year, I'm pretty sure this one will become one of my favorites too. We paired it with a new Lilac RX set, which you can buy with spring tokens, which matches perfectly with the English thoroughbred's white coat. And at that point, we were completely out of everything. We had no more lights, no more ribbons, and way fewer star coins than we started with. So we finished the day by playing a game of tag and taking a group picture at the fountain, just to remember our big first shopping spree. So for somebody who, until this day, only bought 1 horse at a time, this was a big deal. So that was my first real shopping spree, and we spent over 3,000 star coins, plus everything in Jorvik shillings and tokens that I saved up. But there are still horses left, so if you want me to go back and do 1 more shopping spree before the festival ends, let me know which horses that should be and how you would name them. And if you don't want to miss out on that, make sure you're subscribed. And now I'm off to train all of these horses. So thank you for watching and see you around in Jorvik.